We're here at the beautiful Summit Motorsports Park, Norwalk, Ohio. This track is gorgeous. Probably one of the prettiest tracks in the whole nation. You know, it almost makes it worth the whole 9-hour drive getting here. But we're here, we're set up, we're ready to go racing. We're just coming off of a win. And you know, we went 197 and some change at the last race, and we still saw a lot of room there. So I don't like being the guy that can say I've almost been 208. So today, we're trying to go 208 mile, and that's our goal. And you're going to see us trying to accomplish that through the day. We're going to be adding timing out the back. Right now, we're starting at 23 degrees of timing. We're going to go out there, get a baseline run, and then we're going to keep creeping up on it. And at the same time, we're working on our 60-foot time. So we know we just weren't really perfect there in our 60-foot at that last race. Even though we did get the win and the car was really consistent, I still think there's some improvement to be had in our 60-foot. We need to be consistently going 940 60-foot. We were at 960 at the last race, right around 960. So we need to be getting the wheel speed up in the 60-foot, trying not to blow the tire off, and trying to get it to go down the track and run fast, and that's going to be the goal today. So just to be clear, we are sitting, we're tied for first in the points right now for a world championship, and that's what we're gunning for. I want my world championship. I was the world champion back in 2019, and I also got inducted into the 30 under 30 deal that Drag Illustrated does. Really cool season, and I'm trying to have a repeat of that season. So we're tied for first. We're tied with Michael White, aka Spud. You'll hear me refer to him as Spud, because that's just what we call him here. And Steve Furr. And Steve Furr, he's a bad dude. That dude knows how to lay it down in Top Dragster, and I'll be honest, he's got my number pretty good. So throughout the season, you'll see some highlight runs between Michael White and Steve Furr and me, and we'll be battling it out, shooting for another championship. We're trying to win the world here in the PDRA, and right now I've got 9 points, which is only qualifying points that separate all 3 of us. So we're right, less than a round. 1 round win is 100 points, so we're all within 9 points, sitting first. And we're here in Norwalk, Ohio, and I'm trying to make the difference. Anyway, stay tuned. We'll be coming into the first run here shortly, and then we'll be back to talk about it. As you can see, you know, 200's probably not gonna happen. I shot for the stars, and yeah, we ain't gonna land on that mark. The big thing is the weather. The weather, it's hot, it's sticky, it's wet, the air's humid. We got Lake Superior right up from us, and I really wasn't expecting it to be quite as slow. We've seen a big change with this new Pro Charger we've got. You know, the other Pro Charger, whenever it gets hot and the air and the barometer drops down, it still doesn't affect the boost because we're maxing the blower out. Well, now we're not really maxing the blower out. We're spinning it pretty hard, but you know, it could probably still pull more air in there. So what you're seeing is, as the barometer gets lower, we're not able to get as much air into the blower, and we're actually down about 3 or 4 pounds of boost here at this race. At first, I thought, you know, something was wrong. To go through the testing runs, the first run, you know, we just unloaded kind of with a similar tune-up we had that we raced on and won on in Virginia. That first run, obviously, it was slow. It just left out slow. We had a 980 60-foot. The track really wasn't there. I was really shocked at the track. It's really like bubble gum out there. It's just so hot. The track temp's around 140 degrees. We've had to figure out how to adjust the tire and the combination to that. So Russ is going to talk about, walk you through kind of the steps of getting the tire where we needed to get it, and kind of how we inch the timing in to we're making increases in speed, ET, as well as grip on the track.
The first run was slow in 60, slow all the way through the run, but the wheel speed was actually up. So what that tells me is that there's not enough grip on the surface up there, the racing surface, either due to temperature or the grooming or whatever. So what we do is we look at that wheel speed, we go, okay, it's a little elevated, let's raise the tire pressure a little bit to create a little bit more grip, incrementally raise it just a little, about 1/10 of a pound, 1/10 and a half of a pound for the second run. And at the same time, you know, we did some tuning on the engine, we gave it a little bit more power, give it a little bit more timing so it can make more power, and hope that that grip moves the car forward at a faster rate. And it didn't really fare so well. The second run, it pretty much ran the same thing, but that really was an improvement because the conditions were worse. It was hotter, track surface was hotter, the weather was way worse. It was probably 800 feet worth of air between the first and the second run, and compared to Virginia, we're 2,500 foot of air worse than we were at Virginia. Barometer is a complete number lower, and all those conditions just make for no horsepower. You're constantly tuning for, you know, the conditions along with the racing surface. So with that data, we moved on to the third run, and we said, okay, we need more grip and we need more power. So we raised the tire pressure again, we put more power in the motor, and it showed, what, it go 82. For conditions, you know, that was really good. So we know we made an improvement.
As we go into qualifying, you know, we're going to keep the same strategy. We're going to keep going up at air pressure, just we're inching it up. We're going to keep adding timing, but you know, as the night air comes in, I'm hoping the air is going to come back to us a little bit, and that's going to equate to a fast pass. You know, we're looking at something that's we're going to get solid in the field with and not have to worry too much about qualifying, because we're up in Norwalk. This is top dragster nation up here. I mean, you've got some fast stuff here. It's going to be fast, a fast bump spot, and we just got to make the field because we're shooting for a championship. The first step of a championship is just making the field. So that's the goal here. We're going to try and make the field, lay down a good lap, and I think a lot of the other guys that didn't test, they're going to see that it's a lot slower than you think it is out there. It is just real slow. The track's not there. So we're going to really swing, and hopefully we'll dip into the 70s. I'd love to see a 79 or a 78. That would make me feel pretty confident that we're in the field and set good to race.
Hey guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about tire pressure. We're here at Norwalk. We've been struggling with, you know, the traction here. It's hot, it's greasy, track conditions are not great, but at the same time, the air is really bad. You can't make good power. So you got to make sure the tire's freed up so you can get the motor spinning, get the motor going. I'm gonna give you a few tips on how to achieve that. So as we started testing here, we found that, you know, we didn't have enough power, so the wheel speed was low. So I looked at my G meter to see how the G meter was pulling, to see if the car's moving forward, and it wasn't moving forward that good. So I decided, hey, let's put some more power to it. So we do that through the timing curve, and through the fuel we can lean it out or whatever, make more power. So we changed the timing, get after a little bit more, raise the wheel speed, but the G meter wasn't any better. So now that tells me we need more grip. So to get more grip, we're going to raise our tire pressure for the next test session. By raising the tire pressure, it gives you more grip, and we'll see what that does to the G meter. So after that test session, we found that it did help the G-meter a little bit, not much, but still the wheel speed was lower than I would like it to be. It didn't really move it much, so I'm going to put more power to it and get it up a little higher and see if that picks the G-meter up, picks the 60 foot up. And when we do that, you know, we should see some good results. Hopefully the car goes faster, lays down a good lap. Now on the last test session, we went ahead and raised up the tire pressure even higher and put more power to it to get the car moving. And it did better, had the best 60 foot we've had here. Was the G-meter that great? No, it really wasn't that great compared to what we normally see. We pull normally almost 4 Gs, and this was pulling like 340, 350 on the high side. It might have touched 4 on out a little bit, but come right back down. So it really wasn't getting the car moving. So anyway, to explain what happens with tire pressure, to create wheel speed, if you want to free the tire up, you want to lower your tire pressure because the weight of the car is carried on the inside and the outside edges of the tire, and the center's not pushing down on the pavement as much. And if you don't push down on the pavement, obviously you're going to have less grip and it creates more wheel speed. A lot of people say, well, what about down track? You know, it's going to be, it wants to spin more down track. Well, that really doesn't affect you down track as much because once the tire's spinning, it slings the center of the tire out and you achieve the same grip out there that you would achieve with more air pressure. So if you want to slow the tire down, like you need more grip, then you would inch up on tire pressure, and which gives you more grip in the center of the tire, and which should help you move the car forward. So when you're looking at your graphs, if you see that your wheel speed runs up but your G-meter goes down, that means you're spinning, so you need more tire pressure. If you see that your drive shaft goes down and your G-meter goes up and then you go into shake, that means you need less tire pressure. If it goes down and the G-meter goes up and you don't have shake, it just goes on down, that means you need more power, so you can increase your power. And that's how you overcome your issues getting your car to move, getting the G-meter up, you know, tire shake and things like that. Hopefully those tips will help you guys out.
Qualifying, obviously we ran that 378 and that was a killer run, you know, as Russ was adding the tire pressure and increasing the timing. That nighttime air, the track just loved it. You know, we got in the field good. At first we were set at number 5, and then we ended up getting bumped back to number 9. But I gotta tell you, at Norwalk, the number 9 spot, that's really where you want to be, because a lot of those outlaw guys, they don't really bracket race. They're just really good at, you know, going fast. And I say this is PDRA and this is the bracket. This is a bracket race, so go fast all you want. We'll be set up tight. We'll be set up trying to run our game plan, run the number, be tight on the tree, and we'll see, you know, how far we can go during race day. Now, for the second run, we went out, the track got a little worse, and it's got a little bad spot in the left lane, and when the tire hit it, it kind of rolled into some shake and then still drove through it, so it slowed us down. 382. And then the last run, we tried to clean it up, but then once again, you know, we hit some bald spots in the track and the tire just didn't like it. It shook again. Right now what we're thinking is the 381 tune that we had yesterday, the pass we ran the 381 with during testing, that's going to be what we race on. And that looks like our cleanest run, that's the least volatile. We're really going to be pushing and trying, hopefully that tune will get down this track consistently throughout the day, and we can turn some wind lights on.
Yeah, I think the outside of the 378 run, that 381 run in testing was the most consistent. It showed the cleanest graph on the wheel speed and things like that, so I believe is the best option, you know, since we didn't make good clean runs on the last 2 qualifiers. So if I could go back to that, that's probably look conservative, a good race setup, and should repeat well, you know, with the conditions that we got. Now, for the race, you know, the air's looking like from the weather predictions it's going to be worse. Will it run the same thing? Who knows? Might be a little slower, but it doesn't matter. We're just going to run the same thing over and over again.
Slow isn't necessarily bad.
That's right.
Not in the race part.
That's right.
You know, so as long as we can dial within a tenth of the bump, then we're good to go. You know, if it runs slow, run slow. Like I said earlier, we're kind of tossing out going 200 to this track. It's just not going to happen. The weather and the track conditions, it's not there. All we can do now is play our hand and play our cards. As far as the competition goes, some interesting things have happened during qualifying. Michael White and Spud, they've had issues, and they were not able to qualify. And then Steve Furr, he ended up hurting his engine. He dropped a valve, so I don't even think he's here anymore. I think he's already loaded up and left. Me personally, I'm not really a fan of winning that way. I'd rather, you know, beat them straight up. I define luck as preparation meets opportunity, and right now we've got a lot of opportunity. So we're going to see if we can really take advantage of it, knock a real big dent in the points, get good and far ahead, and be comfortable for this championship, and that's going to be the goal on race day. All right, well, bad news and good news. Bad news is I'm red. Only one thou. I literally rolled 2 thou out of the box, and a cloud kind of came in right as I was staging. That's what my dad told me, you know. I felt really good when I let go. I was set up right at around what I would have thought was around 12 on the tree. So I felt good when I let go, and in my head I was thinking, okay, that's 00. I'm gonna be 00 something. So I felt good as I left, and I was thinking in my head, I'm gonna be 00 something. Well, that 00 something was 001 red. It hurts. It hurts being 001 red. It almost is like, dang, so close, but yet so far away. Kyle Harris, he still put up a great run against me. He put up a 17 package, and as fast as we're going, 17 total is pretty tough to get inside. I still believe I had the ability to do it there. I'm not saying I could have won if I would have turned it green. I'm just saying I had a good chance. Kyle was definitely showed up that round, and you know, I did the best I could do. The car running phenomenally. The tune-up we decided to choose, that 81 pass from testing, it really shined. You know, the car liked it. It was making clean runs. It was predictable. Yeah, the first run we ran way off the dial in, and that's only because the weather. We've never seen that kind of water grains and air temp, as well as the DA that we were seeing with this new blower. So we were really just kind of taking a stab at it. But then it just, as soon as we found where it was at, and it just stayed right there for that next run. So we definitely have a race car. So the bad news is I lost, and I'm out second round. But the good news is I believe no matter what after this race, no matter who wins, I will still be leading the points for a world championship this year. So we're still very much in the game. We're very much committed, and we are shooting for that world championship.